Today, we are diving headfirst into a huge global showdown. It's a story about fairness, about money, and about who gets to call the shots for a planet. And it all revolves around one of the most important places on Earth. Okay, picture this. You're at a party, right? And one guy makes a total mess. We're talking spilled drinks, food everywhere, just a disaster. Then he turns around, points at you holding a tiny little cup, and says, "Hey, you better not spill a single drop or you're paying for the whole cleanup." That sounds nuts, right? Well, hang on to that feeling because that's pretty much what we're talking about today. That exact feeling of, wait, that's not fair, is playing out on the world stage in what you could call the climate blame game. In one corner, you've got the European Union, and in the other, you've got Brazil. And believe me, they are in a major disagreement over the future of the world's forests. So here's the deal. The European Union has laid down a new rule. If you want to sell your products here, they can't be linked to deforestation. Sounds pretty good on the surface, right? They're using their market power to protect forests. But then you look over at Brazil, and they're saying, whoa, hold on a second. They see this as a punitive instrument, which is basically a fancy way of saying it's a punishment designed to mess with their trade. And you can totally see why Brazil's a little worried. This law takes aim at some of their biggest exports. We're talking beef, soy, even your morning coffee. For Brazil, this isn't just a rule. It's a direct hit to their economy, potentially worth billions. And the place at the center of all this tension? The Amazon rainforest. So let's take a step back and talk about why everyone is so focused on this one forest. I mean, it's not just a big patch of trees. We're talking about the lungs of the planet. The Amazon is this incredible, vibrant world, buzzing with life. You've got jaguars, monkeys, and probably thousands of species we don't even know about yet. But its real power, the reason it matters to every single person listening, is so much bigger than the amazing animals that live there. Yeah, don't just take my word for it. The World Wildlife Fund points out that massive forests, like the Amazon, are basically giant climate control systems. They're so huge and so active, they literally help manage weather patterns for whole continents, and they even affect the climate for the entire globe. Probably the easiest way to think about it is this. The Amazon is the best natural air purifier on the market. It literally breathes in the carbon dioxide that's warming up our planet and breathes out the oxygen we all need to survive. It's doing this incredible, life-saving job for all of us, completely free of charge. Okay, so this brings us to the absolute core of Brazil's argument. And it's based on this really powerful idea from economics called kicking away the ladder. This idea from an economist named Ha-Jun Chang is actually super simple. He argues that rich countries got rich by using every trick in the book. You know, protecting their new industries, using their natural resources however they wanted. But then, as soon as they got to the top of the economic ladder, they turned around and kicked it away, telling all the developing countries, nope, you can't climb up the same way we did. And this slide kind of breaks it down as a joke, like a how-to guide for hypocrisy. Step 1, build up your own industries and protect them from competition. Step 2, use those industries to get super rich. Step 3, once you're comfortable at the top, start telling everyone else they have to play by free trade rules. And the final, brilliant step, you call it progress, while making sure nobody can follow you up the ladder. It's a pretty bold claim, for sure. So is that really what's going on with the Amazon? Are rich countries kicking away the ladder? Well, to figure that out, we can't just stick with theories. We've got to look at the evidence, at the cold, hard numbers. So let's do that. Let's look at the numbers. Think of it like this. After a 200-year industrial party where everyone went wild, the bill is finally here. The carbon bill has arrived. And that leads to the big question. Who really ran up the tab? Who used up our planet's limited carbon budget? Who actually made that giant mess we talked about at the beginning? When you look at the history, the answer is kind of mind-blowing. It's this number, 92%. Just let that sink in for a second. 92%. But of what? This chart tells the whole story. Researchers calculated who's responsible for all the excess carbon dioxide emissions, the stuff that pushed us over the safe limit. The United States alone is responsible for 40% of it. The EU, another 29%. You add it all up, and the rich, industrialized countries of the global north caused 92% of the climate problem. The entire global south, combined, caused only 8%. So here's the kicker. The very same countries that are now setting these tough environmental rules for places like Brazil are the ones who historically created almost the entire climate crisis to begin with. That really puts this whole debate into a new perspective, doesn't it? So, if punishment and rules aren't the full picture, what is? Well, let's look at a totally different idea. What if we just started paying for the trees? The EU law is basically a stick. It's a punishment to try and stop bad behavior. But we've all heard the saying about the carrot and the stick, right? So what if instead of a stick, there was a carrot? What if instead of punishing Brazil for cutting down trees, the world actually paid them to not cut them down? And this isn't just some crazy idea. It's already a real thing. It's called the Amazon Fund. And as you can see right here, countries like Norway and Germany have already put in billions of kroners and millions of euros. The mission is simple. Give Brazil a financial incentive to protect the forest. It's the carrot approach in action. So how does it actually work? Well, basically, the world pays Brazil when it proves it has reduced deforestation. But here is the most important part. The money isn't just going into a government bank account. It's specifically designed to flow to the people who are actually protecting the forest, the indigenous communities, the small farmers, the people on the ground. Because all the research shows us again and again that the absolute best guardians of the forest are the indigenous peoples and local communities who have lived there forever. So helping them isn't just the fair thing to do. It's actually the smartest and most effective way to protect the Amazon for every single one of us. And that really brings us to the final fundamental question here. When you know that the blame for the climate crisis is so uneven, what does real responsibility actually look like? Is it about punishment or is it about partnership? That's a question we all need to be thinking about. Thanks for joining me.